cover today's plan and half of Thursday plan. Yes, that is why. Yes, so that we will not miss the class too much. Okay, so let's start with Power BI dashboard design. That should be the topic. Power BI dashboard design. Please let me close that. No, only the glass. Power BI dashboard design. So let's officially define what a dashboard is. I know we must have been using the term dashboard, but let's redefine it in case you miss it before now. So right, a dashboard is an analytics system. A dashboard is analytics system or an interface in Power BI that brings two or more reports. That brings two or more reports together. Note, in Power BI dashboard, all the reports are interactive and can be regulated dynamically with sliders. All reports are interactive and can be regulated dynamically with sliders. So let's look at, if you look at what I have here, this is where I actually presented the comprehensive definition of it. Like I say, a single page interactive view that display key metrics and helping user quickly monitor business. Now, the dashboard we were talking about is a particular company can employ you and ask you to create an analysis dashboard for them, which will be live. That is, as they are entering their information, the dashboard will be analyzing their business real time. I said it before now that every data you load in Power BI, once they update the source, it will also update on your dashboard. So which means that they can continue what? Populating the data. Your dashboard will just be updating automatically. So let's quickly look at some key features of Power BI dashboard. Certain things we need to know so that as we start designing it, we should watch out for these things. They must be there. At least an average of 2 of them must be in your dashboard. So the first one is single page. So a dashboard must have a single page, which is also called a canvas that summarizes data using visualizations. So like what you have now is a dashboard. We just that we are going to design a more professional dashboard because of some visuals that I want to include. So let's make sure that in every dashboard you design, there must be what? Charts, right? There should be what? Map. There should be KPI. There should be card. So you see the reason why I don't remember that we have not done card. So it is not compulsory that you have 4 of them or even more of them. At least you should have chart and what? Card. It's compulsory. These two must be in your dashboard. That is what brings out the beauty of what? The dashboard. Then the second thing is that what? The dashboard, one of its key features is that it pulls out data from what? One or multiple what? Power BI reports, which align with the definition I gave up before. That's why I said a dashboard is just like a system, an interface that bring 2 or more what? Report visuals together. And all these reports are interconnected. They are linked to themselves. If you click on that graph, click on one part of it, just click on it. You see that you analyze everything that is tied to it. You click on one of the bar. in your graph, you select one of the bar, you will see that you analyze, just to tell you that what everything in the graph in the dashboard are connected. Like, look up here. If I click here now, can you see what happened now? See that what? This is a slicer. So every element is a slicer, not until you bring out a dedicated what? Slicer. So that is one thing we must know. That is what we are talking about here. Pulls out data from what? Multiple what? Reports. Now, another key feature is that designed to give what? Insights at a glance. Looking at your dashboard, the one you have designed so far, you can see that mere looking at it at once, you can get some what? Information without you stressing yourself. So, in other words, your dashboard should be very simple. Once you create a dashboard that cannot give information at a glance, then you know that what? Your dashboard is not up to the standards. That is why we are considering these features. It can include what? Real-time data from what? Streaming data sets. Remember, that's what I just mentioned now. If they are currently entering data in the data source that have generated the current dashboard reports, as those information that have been entered, they can also what? You can optimize them in your dashboard component. Then you can pin visual from what? Multiple reports onto what? One. That is, there is a button that you can click on here. You can create a button that can take us to what? Another dashboard. Now, that will now take us to, let's look at the next topic will now be dashboard design with card, Power BI card. Dashboard design with Power BI card. Dashboard design with Power BI card. So what you are seeing here is a dashboard. You can see that nobody have this kind of presentation. These are cards. These are cards. What you have, they are like categorical analysis or classification analysis. That is what you have. They are not single metric what? Analysis. Now, what you have here now, look at all these cards now. They have just single results. The total of everything is this. Not comparing value against what? Unique what? Values. That is the kind of analysis you do with what? Power BI card. And those cards should have been at the top. They should always be at the top before you have all these main what? Reports. That is the best position. So let's quickly write note on what is card before we switch to the application. The Power BI card is a type of visualization used to display a single data point. That's the keyword. So you don't involve card when you are not interested in display what? Single metric value. For example, now, like some of those analysis we are doing with that in Python, where we summarize basic salary against department. We have to go by listing out what? The individual what? Department, right? Unique department, and summarize the value of basic salary against them. That is not the kind of analysis that will involve card, because it's not single metric you are displaying. So like a total, average, or other keyword metric in a clean, bold format, it perfects for what? It is perfect for highlighting key performance what? Indicators. That's what? KPI. Or drawing attention to a specific what? Numbers. So these are the kind of scenario, or these are situations whereby you involve card. So as an expert user of Power BI, you should actually know when to use what? Card, and when not to use card. So now I'm going to switch back to Power BI, and then, so I still have some key characteristics of what? Power BI card. So let's just take all the necessary information because they are very important to understand them. So one of its attributes is that it displays what? One value. So which align with what we just mentioned. Total sale, number of customer, average score. So this kind of reporting, you use what? Power BI card. Often used to highlight what? Important figure, which is also part of what I have mentioned there. support conditional formatting. We did conditional formatting in Excel, right? Where we formatted, where we determine the appearance of our value based on what? Certain what? Criteria. It can be interactive. That is, clicking a card can filter other what? Visual, just like what we did now. So it's not only card. If you click on any of your Power BI visual reports, any of the value, it will what? Analyze everything. We saw it now. So, but the funny part of this card is that it's just like a holder of value. So if it's a holder of value, the calculation that the card is going to display needs to be created. And that is why you see what? Measure coming in here. Are we together? So what I'm saying is that let's see card as a displayer, maybe displaying content of a calculated value, displaying what the result of your analysis. So which means that you need to use a data language used by Power BI to create formula. What's the name of that language? DAS. So in other words, we are going into DAS now because we are going to use DAS to create some calculators that will perform certain analysis for us. Then the result of those analyses, they are what we would like to display with what? With the cards. So you should never think of card when you have not created what? The measures. So see measure as a calculator. So let me quickly highlight it. So what is Power BI measure? Because we are going to use it now to do some analysis that will be displayed with what? With the card. A single metric what? Value display visuals. So in Power BI, a measure is a calculated value. That's a keyword. A calculated value. So it's not direct entry. It's not you just typing 1 million. It's a value that will have been derived by either multiplying one value by what? Another one, or dividing a value by what? Another value. That is the meaning of what? A calculated value that you define, not Power BI. You are the one that what? Will have defined it. Now, the question is that which language will I use to what? To code this function? Using DAS, data analysis what? Expression. So measure are used to perform what? Calculation on your data. This calculation to us as data analysts, they are the analysis. So I can simply say that measure help me to analyze and get me the result and store the result in itself. Then I will now use card to display what? The results. So please don't forget, before you create card, you must have done what? You will have created what? A measure. That is what? You must have calculated a value. So there are different functions you can actually deploy while you are creating your measure using the DAS language, such as sum. We are going to see summation function, average, count, percentage, or more advanced logic. And they automatically adjust based on the filters and visuals in your reports. Are we together? Can I move? Okay, now let's look at the practical step now. So which one are we doing first? Is it the card we have to create first or the measure? Measure. Please understand it. Card are to display a calculated value. Now you need to create what? The calculator. So that will not take us to what? How to create what? Measures / analysis calculators on a data
frame. Write it the way I'm saying it. How to create measures slash how to create measure slash calculator. I think I use the word how to create measure slash what? Analysis what? Calculators on a data set or frame. So we are actually integrating them on our data. So whichever data you want to draw this insight from using the measure, you have to build the measure on that data. Am I communicating? So in this case now, I have what? Two different what? Data. So the first thing I need to do, please, your step. After that topic, right? The step one is identify the data to build the measures on. That's the first thing you should do. Identify the data to build the measures on. Identify what? The data to build what? The measures on. So in this case now, I want to perform some calculation that ordinarily the default calculators cannot handle. Please, I want to answer this question so that you know whether there is need for us to even create this measure. From the drag and drop that you have been doing since, if you are asked to calculate, analyze the total of basic salary, how will you do it? Do you have any idea? What do you think you would do? You drop what? This one now. Inside which one? Which are the reports? Is it table? Table is for categorical analysis, where you list out the unique, then analyze against them. Is it the card that you have not learned? You don't know anything about card at this moment. So I just want us to know when to involve what? Measure. So we are going to write down your next step, draft out your analysis question to create the measure to answer. Yes, yes.
I think from our visual, you might not I noticed something apart from the table visual. That's this card.
And that is what we're talking about. We have not learned cards.
Okay,
yes.
Well, now our first one was table and matrix.
Yes, yes. So now, I was giving us, I said before. I said what? Draft out your analysis questions. So I'm going to draft 3 questions that I will answer with a card, if not more than 3. The first one is what? What is the total? I'll be writing the question, e.g., so that you see how I'm going to answer all these questions. The salary payroll. What is the total basic salary for all the employees? So that is one question that will require some dash function because you said you are adding total. The next question is what is the average? What is the average? What is the total what? Average basic what? Salary. What is the total average basic salary is the next one. Then the third one is analyze the total numbers of employees in the payroll data. Analyze the total number of employees in the payroll data. So I want to add this. How many unique departments do we have? That is another question. Each of these will expose us to what? Different what? Functions. How many unique departments do we have in the data set? How many unique what? Departments do we have in the payroll data? So let's see how we create measure to answer this question. So you now write your practical steps on how to create measure. except you want to continue with the process because it's still part of the step, but I just want to separate the step. Now, remember I said, identify the data you want to put the measure on, right? So in this case now, we are creating the measure on what? Staff data what? The staff data. So which means that your first step, right-click on any of the header on the data set to create the measure on. You can see the way I right-click on any of the...
Second step.
Yes, second step. If you want to continue with the previous step, that should be third step. Because the first step was identify what, the second one was, so the third one is right-click on any of the what, the data set header to build the measure on. So the reason why I right-click is for me to select what, new measure. So your next step, click on new measure. Once you right-click, you click on new measure. You wait to take some time. Take some time. Nobody should operate, just focus first. Nobody should operate. Now, look up here. Trying to zoom it so that we can see it. Okay, so let me click again, new measure. So it will open like this. So the next step is for you to give your calculator or measure a name. And the name should describe the analysis you want to perform. The first question which I want to answer says what? So I will describe it that way. I will delete that one. So I can just say total, so nobody should operate. Total what? Basic salary. Now, here, you will not do equals, you will not do sum because it's the sum you want to use. Then you double click on it or you just click. Now, once you click, even if you have loaded 1 million data here, it will capture all of them. So that's why I said you should identify the data you want the measure to be calculated on. So what is showing me right now is not the data I want to work on, right? So I will scroll down, I will scroll up, so I can now start seeing header from the real data that I want to work on. So I will locate where I have what? Basic salary, which is this. So you click. So this is the dash function we're talking about. So this function is created to calculate what? To give us addition of what? All the values under what? This. Now, once you are done creating your function, you now click on this to commit it. And once you commit it, if it does not throw any error here, and then this particular name will not display here. Right now, you are seeing what? Measure. This check here. So once I click on it, how I will know that the calculator has been created is when I can see the name of the description here. So let's scroll down whether I will see it there. This is it here. And what symbol is this? Calculator. Now, what is happening right now is that the analysis has been done, but the answer is stored here. Now, you now need card to visualize it here. You see the process now. So the measure has done its own part. Then I will now come and click what? Card as a single metric and add what? The calculated value inside. So the total is what? 19 million. So you reduce it because it's just displaying one. And please, you have to write a description here by going to what? Insert, select text box, and write maybe analysis. Yeah, attention, give us time to analysis dashboard. Then Control A, bold it, increase the size, stretch it up, center it, so now I want to format. Remember, I told us that any visual you are using has what? Formatting command. So you click on it, you also switch to what? Format what? Visual. So now you want to format what? Your card. So here under callout, you have where you can bold it. So just make sure you are watching how, and then you should have a kind of a color in mind. So let me use black, and then let me just go to general and choose a background color for it. So I can just choose a background color for this card. And then if I'm choosing this, there is no point of me adding title because my description is already what? Explaining. But where your description is not explanatory, then you have to what? Attach your analysis question so that you will know what actually that card is what? Analyzing. So I can come back here and change the text color to what? To white. And then if I want to improve this, I can still go down to category label so that I can also improve that description, change the color to black so that it can be visible, and then want to increase it. Now, after you have formatted your card, now I want to answer the next question. You can go on and on. There are still more features there, like a shadow to make it stand out. So make sure that you explore all the options there. So let's answer the next question. What's the next question again? Quickly. That is the average, right? So I am creating another what? Measure. So I'll click again, new measure. So I also give it what? A descriptive name, which is what? Total what? Total, let me underscore AV underscore salary, right?
Basic salary.
Okay, basic salary. Salary. Now, here we are using average function. So you now type what? Average. Click on it. The same thing. We are looking for what? Average of what? Average of the same base salary, right? So the same thing that we did the other time. I'll go there and then commit it. Just keep watching. Now, I will now call another what? Another card. And then I am mindful of the space in between them and the height of your card. Everything should have certain level of what? Uniqueness. So now I will now add what? The calculator. That is what? Total average. Now, instead of me, the first thing I want to do is what? To make sure that what is equal the height. Now, instead of me to start formatting, I can just click on this one that I formatted, click on what? Format what? Painter, and then what? Just touch it. It makes your work faster. So I want to create like 4 to 5 cards to fill up the whole of this. Then your main report, like that one that you have already, will now come afterwards, the card. That is the standard. So what's the next question? Let's quickly answer that. What is the next question? So that one will now lead to using what? Count function. Good. So here, total underscore number. Underscore employee. Then you count. Then the next thing is we are counting. Now, remember, we saw count A and ordinary count there, which is the same way we applied it what in Excel. Count A is the one that can count any type of data, whether it is a string or a number. But if you are using count, it means that what? It must be only numbers. So since I'm using count, the header I will choose must have value, number under it. So I can use this one because it has what? Integer or floating number. So I'll click what? Here, same thing. So that is it here at all? Okay. So let me create another card. I am mindful of the height, the card, and the space between each one. They are what? 150. You know, we have been working with this data set, but now you should know that. So the same thing. MSC, are you following? You have already learned it. So the next thing is we have one more question, Abby. We want to know the unique department, right? How many unique departments or how many unique states? These are the kind of questions. Or how many unique what? Status. So let's create another measure. Unique departments. So here you will use distinct count. That is what you are using, distinct count. Whenever you want to count unique item, you use what? Distinct what? Count. Distinct count of, let me see, use, sorry. We cannot use any other one, but what? The particular header you are dealing with. And then you commit it as well. So I call in another card. Then add it to it. There are what? 9 of them. So let me also format. So I want to do one more. Let's add that question. Let's add it to it. Let's add it to it. Another question we can answer with card, which is more advanced than this one. What is the difference? What is the difference between the total basic salary and the total net salary? So you know how to go multiple. So this one is just one we are doing. What is the difference between what? Total and what? Total net salary. So let's create measure for it. New measure. So here, let's describe it. Total what? Basic, I mean, let's start basic. Minus what? Total net, I mean, so that it will be easier for us to know what we did. So here, you are going to use the same sum first. Just watch the checklist now. I will call the basic salary first. You see this bracket, this sum function bracket is not closed, right? Why we are not closing the other? Because it was only one. Now that it's two, you have to close it. You manually close it first like this. You now bring in your what? Your minus. You now do sum again. You now trace what? Net what? Salary. Where is it here? The same thing, if you are dividing one with the other, you close it, division sign, addition. So sometimes it can go multiple where you are totally what? More than one headers values. Now, you have to also close this one now before you execute it. Then after that, you commit. If it does not output any error, it means, and the name you use is displayed here, without having any form of exclamation mark on it, it means that what? You are correct. So let's go and output it with another card here. So it's just for you to be creative with what you are doing. Once you understand what you want to derive from the data, then you should be able to do it. Then if peradventure you get stuck, you can just call chat what? Let's say you are in the office, you are trying to write that function, you don't know what to do. You can just call chat what? Before you look for what, you tell me, where is the name I use safe? This one, right? So who can tell us why we are having this? The value we have, the total of, just like you are subtracting a lower value, a higher value from what? A lower value. Definitely, the total of base salary, they are what? Less than what? Net salary. That is what we are having here. But at least you understand that formula system. So now let me click here. So by the time you are applying, you can take your time to be writing the function if you want to write them. Now, I'm leaving this space for a slicer that I'm going to use to what? To manipulate the whole thing. Now, I want to see if... So I will now create my main report before I allow us to start getting to this point. I will create my main report. And one thing you should always know is that your main report should be related to what? These cards. Because what this card is giving me is the total of what? Now, I would like a main report that is breaking it down, not giving me the same thing. Or one of the main report that is breaking one of these card what? Value down. That's where it makes sense. Or two of them. Maybe one is breaking this one down. Another one what? Is breaking this one. Because in accounting, you cannot just tell your boss that I spent 1 million without giving what? So you are trying to avoid such questions. Okay, give us a breakdown of this. So I will now, on my main report, I will now use what? Table and one graph. That is enough. Since I have what is it called? I have card here. So I will distribute the space. So table should be here, then graph will be here. You now see that the design will not change. Now, since I am using this table to give the breakdown of this, so it's going to be department against what? The basic salary that you summarize here. So I'll pick this one and then pick what? Basic salary. Then I will go to my formatting to make it look presentable. Let me start with the value. Increase the value so that it can occupy that space that I've created. So take your time to format your own. I believe you know what to do. Make sure that your colors are not contradicting. So let me see if I apply this format on this, it will make sense. So it does make sense. Go and format it what? Separately, so that you can work on the values the way we did it. So now, the graph of this, now I want to perform this. I want to give the breakdown of this, but to be in a graph form. What we did here is what? The total county, right? So I want to analyze this county based on what? This same what? Department. So let me use another one. Let's say what? Matrix. But I will switch to what? To graph when I'm done. Or I can even choose the graph straight. Let me click here. No, I chose this option that day. I can just click here. So you need to check whether if you use this horizontal one, it will give you a better design, or use what? A vertical one. So you don't just use it anyhow. If you saw that MST dashboard, you see the way everything was, the way you use a graph. So now, I think this one will go better. Let me click here, drag this one here. Now, I am counting this on this. Now, I will right click on this. We have done that in our last class, right? Switch from sum to what? Count. And it has sorted everything for you automatically. So I don't want to exceed this to have a good design. So my slicer, maybe something else will be here. So you plan your dashboard space very well and look, user friendly. So those same questions that I answer, create another dashboard, answer the same question. That is what you are here to come up with something like this. So you can start now. Within the next 10 minutes, it should be ready. Very long holiday. To complete it, make sure you save it. Okay, so let's look at another visual, which is Q and A. Q and A visual. So which one we just apply now? Q and A visual. Right. Powerbi Q and A is a feature that allows users to ask questions. Is a feature that allows users to ask questions about their data in natural language, and receive answers in the form of visualization. And receive answer in the form of visualization. In the form of what? Visualization. Now, as far as I'm concerned, is one of the best visual so far, or one of the Power BI components, because it's real time. It's just like the way you use Google. As soon as you ask Google, once you have data, you get your what? Your results. But this one will synchronize the details from your data, not from the internet. That's why we use the word natural what? Language. So you can actually use Q and A to do all this that you did. Yes. Now let me create another dashboard as if I want to use Q and A to do what you are doing with what? Measures now. What was the first question? Total, right? Now this is the visual. This is the visual, Q and A. So write your step. Click on. So your first step is identify the question. So it's either you activate the visual before you identify the question and ask, or you have already know your questions. So as soon as you activate it, you start asking. So once you have done that, the next step, click on the Q and A visual. So it will give you a framework. It will give you a framework like this. And it's trying to look at the data that you are currently selecting to be able to give you some suggested questions, just like Google. So what is the total average basic what? Salary? Is that the question you want to ask? So you can check through this. What is the total basic what? Net by state? Now, let's just assume that none of this is actually what? Answering your question. So you are given what? A search box here. So let's ask the question. Make sure that you are on that data so that you know the question, the data is going to answer what? The question from. So now I will now ask total what? Basic salary. total basic salary. So let me run it again and see if I will get an answer. You see now, does it not correspond with the card? Now, this is just like Google. Once you use Google search bar to search for something, and you search for another thing, you know you cannot see the first one, right? Now, to convert to visual, you click on this icon beside it. Can you see it? That says what? Turn this question result into what? Standard visual. So once you click now, it's now a card. So you can see that if you don't have to write out those dashes, just ask your question, convert to what? To this. Ask any question within the data to give it to you. So let's ask that one that we did. Let's follow the option. Let's ask all. Let's use Q and A to do everything we did. The next question is what? So I will activate another one. Total average, right? Total average of what? Of basic salary. So let me, is my salary correct? No. Salary. I think this is it. But no, I merged, there's no space. There's still a place where I made a mistake. Separate it. Now let's search. So it's suggesting average of what? Basic salary. Let me click here. This is it. It's aligned with what we got. The same thing, we convert it. Where is the first one? Whoa. I was like, oh, I'm not. So I'm not minding the formatting. You can do that. So let's ask, so you can, let's do that unique counting, the one that counted 9 for us, right? Let's ask that question. So you can see if you are working with an organization, as they are asking you real-time question, they want to get it immediately. You can't start going to DAS and start creating. You quickly what? Deploy this one and ask your question. Now, that was what? What's the question again? How many, right? How many unique departments, right? Departments do we have in the what? In the data set. I pray we have data set. We have to use keyword. So let's see here. How many unique departments do we have in data set? Okay, let me see this. Does it give us? Good, it got it, right? It got it. That's what? 9. So you convert also. Exactly. So I want to quickly, this is supposed to be the next topic. So let's add it. We can finish it. Decomposition. Visual. Decomposition visual. Right. The decomposition tree visual in Power BI. The decomposition tree visual in Power BI is a powerful tool for analyzing. It's a powerful tool for analyzing. A powerful tool for analyzing and exploring data hierarchically. For exploring data hierarchically. Huh? Then note, it drilled down on a data to give the breakdown details. It drilled down on a data to give the breakdown detail. So let's look at the practical step on how to use it. So this is another powerful feature that I also love so much in Power BI, but it requires creativity. It is not everybody that know how to use it, because you need to be able to picture what you want to do with it, and which is also very simple. Most time is used throughout in a dashboard, as in just only it on a dashboard instead of combining it with others. Because to keep expanding, look at the name, the composition tree, just like family tree, where you have the grandpa, then you have the father and mother, then the children, then the family will keep expanding. So you are only trying to detail the family. You can trace anybody to a root. So that is how it works. So the question we want to answer with it is that we are asked to analyze the total basic salary and break it down by department, further break it down by gender, further break it down by grade. You can continue to keep expanding. So let me start with the first step is identify the data variable to break down. That is the first thing. You must know which of the variable you want to analyze and start breaking it down. So in this case, e.g., basic salary, that is the one we want to get a total and then start breaking it down per another variable. So your next step is to click on the visual. Look at it here. Decomposition tree. So once you click on it, this is how it will open. So let me set it up here. So now, the moment you activate it, I want us to watch here. You have two variables, two header, two fields that you must observe what they do. One is analyze. The other one is explain by. Write it to your notes. After adding the visual, right? Then take note of the analyze field and the explain by field. Take note of the analyze field and explain by field. Where the analyze field refers to the variable to sum up its total. Where the analyze field is referred to the variable to sum up its total, e.g., basic salary. So which means I want to look up now. So we will drag basic salary. Hope you are looking. I will drag that inside the analyze field. Now watch out. It will give us the total first. Now you want to break this total per department, right? That department will now be under explain by. That is explain this total by. Then anyone you want to explain, you keep putting them in explain by. It's only one that you put here, but here you can put multiple due to the extent you want to break it down on. Now, let's continue with your notes. Where explain by is to receive the variable to be broken down based on the analyze field. Where explain by is to receive the variable to be broken down based on the analyze field. So which means the analysis question I'm answering is that what is the total basic salary? I have attributed at 19 point something million, right? And now I am now asked again, okay, can you break? I want to see the portion of each department in this 19 million plus. That is the question you want to answer now. So you now quickly drag the department and add it to explain section. Then you see it will now add this plus. This plus wasn't there before. I don't know whether you are seeing it. So once you click on this plus now, it will now ask you, how do you want me to to grade? Is it high value or low value? As they are the sorting. So if I click here now, just watch what will happen. It's loading. is doing the analysis, and then you get a result immediately. You see it now. So it has broken it down per what? That. Now, there are no plus what in front of this. Now, you are asked, okay, give this breakdown per what? Per state, for example. Per state, so that we can have a kind of more design, because you have to be conscious of how it's designing, how it's beautifying your dashboard. Because if I use gender now, we just have just two variables there. And that will not give me another what, style like this. So what I will do, I will now drag what? States. And as you are dragging it, check, you can see the selection, that shade, which means that what? Analyze department before it. If I put it on top, it means that what? It will take where what? Good. So you have to be mindful of the placement. Now, it will now add a plus to each of them. So where do you want to expand it from? So if I click here now and say what? High value, then it will now break it there. So there's no space, so just expand it. Are you getting it now? Now, let's say you are asked to also break it down per what? Which one again? The one that have more. Grade, right? Now, I will now drag what? Grade. Make sure that you are mindful of the order. So this one will now take what? Plus again. Then it's also giving you the legend, the menus you have used. Eh? Good. That is why we are having it this way. So now, I will now what? Based on the design, if I put it here, let's see the space, the design we are going to get. Because we have to be forming per grade. How many of them do we have? Is it just 2 grades? Now, if you click here now, it will bring it here. You understand? Depending on where you want to be. You can just touch the node so you specify where you want based on your design. So you have to be mindful of how it's designing your dashboard. Now, it also, you can continue like that. It also has its own formatting. Every visual you are using, always visit what? The formatting to know what and what you can do there. The tree, look at it here. The density, that is the default. You can use what? You can see it now. It's compressed a little where you have more. Maybe you want to see, bring out more expansion. Now, let me leave it at what? Default. Now, under connectors, that is these lines. You want to change the color, maybe as a way of designing it. Then if you go down, you will see, always make sure you check everything there. The bars, that is what? Level what? Minimum. Then parent what? Node. You see the way it's so you can work with any of these. Which one was there before? Level what? Minimum. Then the stats. So once you click, it's not applying. Then the color, for any reason, maybe after changing your connector's color, you also change what? The color to match with the background you are using. So you can as well what? Do that. Was it here? I changed the color now. Here, right? Okay. So I have the background color of the entire. Okay, so this one, that is the alternative. So it makes the space that is remaining in that bar. Then the background color, header, so just take your time. These are things we have done that you can as well what? All these header. So you make sure that you can go to general. That is where you have what? Formatting the frame itself. This is where you can choose background color for it if you discover that you are not okay with what? The white color it comes with. Is that clear? Okay, so this is what's the time now? So just to add to the card, there's another card. Look at it. You know, this is the card we use now, right? There is another card. This one that have this card. So this is a new one. This one you can analyze more than one. You can see the way it analyzes all of them. You can drag all these, maybe when you create measure now, you can drag more than one measure. It's for multiple card analysis. But for single metric, for single card, you use that one that we did. So let me go back to what I was having there. So this is where we will actually stop. So this topic is what we are, this decomposition is part of the next class. So your assignment now is to look for a different data set, not this one. If it can be a sales event where you have profits, where you have a column called profits, it will make more sense so that it will look like business analytics. Then you are to create not less than 3 different dashboards. And across this dashboard, you must use decomposition somewhere. You must use measure and Q and A. Like somebody asked me in the other class, that how will you know that I use Q and A and the measure? Say, use your conscience. It's for your own good. No. You can combine them. Definitely, you have your card. Maybe one of the dashboard, the card, use Q and A to derive them, so that you can still master everything we have done. The next one, you also have card. All of them should have card. All of them should have card at the top before the main reports.
That's what I'm saying. Now you said 3 different data sets.
Yes. You are creating
different dashboard.
3. I know. I just want to say yes so that the assignment will. Yeah, you don't lose my virus.
Okay, one data set.
Dashboards, right? Each of these 3 dashboards, what we use to formulate your reports, should comprise of Q and A, measure, decomposition. You can still use table, another one, but I want to see where you use these 3 visuals. Well formatted.
You can even say each of the dashboards. One of the dashboards, one of the dashboards, measure one of the.
Good, exactly. Make sure that you format it very well. The colors should be unique, please. And you are going to defend it as usual. You are going to connect data. You say something about it. So make sure you understand it.
What is the total amount and so on?